Um, I would designate it every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. As a sales team connection and training, um, just to train our sales team. Period. As we bring on more setters, we'll bring on more advisors. You guys will be the kind of initial setters. But I also think as we grow, I think you guys will probably kind of drift into more like client fulfillment roles. I think that's like what we probably, because you guys really shine there. And so we'll we'll continue to designate this time, because again, you guys still may be doing some setting as we grow. But I want to designate this time to kind of do any training, any look over any conversations. I would say if you haven't been recording your triage calls, record those if you can. And if you need to use our Zoom to record them, there's 2 Zooms that we have access to. So if you need that extra Zoom, it's in Asana, and it's support. The email is support@ilcuniversity.com. And you can feel free to use that for your calls if you want. It may get funky the more calls we take. If you end up with that one call that you're both on a call or someone's both using it, then it could end up in like a little, because it will kick you out. Zoom is really funky. It will not let you stay logged in to 2 different places, especially on a computer. On a mobile device, it will, but not on a computer. But if you need me to go over your calls, if you need Brady to go over your calls, we can do that. Okay. So that can help.
Well, I just wanted to say about that, about the triage calls, is like the last 2. So Trish had introduced me to a girl named Heather. Okay. And asked me to jump on a call with her. And then also you already knew about Ingrid, and Ingrid is still not ready. She still really doesn't have anything solid to stand on. And then Heather was really the same. She had like a coaching program, but she is just really not ready. She doesn't even have it really packaged right. She's delivering it on she's having a one-on-one call with people, delivering it from a Word doc. So she's just not ready to scale yet. So otherwise, everybody else has went really well. Okay. And if they went through.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I feel like there's definitely quality leads coming through. I don't think our hole is really on the lead gen part yet, even though we have some things in place that we're looking to improve our lead gen on. So just so you guys know, there is a new campaign and funnel being made. It should be up and ready by Monday. But what we were seeing is when people were coming into the group for a challenge, a 5-day challenge, we saw their intent really high because they had something they were coming in the group really, really, really specific for. And now it's less challenge. It's more just coming into the group and getting the value from the group. But it's less of a, they know exactly I'm here for this one thing. So what we've done is we decided we'll create a get clients today funnel and training. So they know exactly what they need to do, download and go through. And that's something that it sounds like somebody like Heather would benefit from. Would you agree? Rebecca?
You said that sounds like something Heather would have benefited from. Is that what you said?
The girl you were talking about, her name's Heather, right?
Yeah. Potentially, she still had some holes in her processes, so I think she needs at least a little bit more work wrapping her head around what she's willing to do with her mindset.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that, because I've actually come across quite a few people that they are actually coming into the group to prospect, which we understand that, but that's their motivation.
Right. And most of them, there's always going to be people like that. You can't avoid that, you know. Anytime you start to build a decent community, there's always going to be people like that. It's just a matter of like getting all the community members to like hold themselves at such a high regard that like they make people feel bad for coming to prospect like that. You know what I mean? Because they just don't know how to do it. And I feel like for our group, we can really help people that want to prospect. Like, look, I want you to prospect. I want you to get clients. Just do it the right way, right? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, we're going to hit our numbers regardless. So there's another 94% of people in the group that could be a better fit for you. Who knows? I don't know. You know, right? Like, let's just help you get there if that's the case. Um, so, I mean, we will have that funnel ready next week, and it should create some more intent about like what they're getting. And then we want that training to lead them to the triage call, and then lead them to the strategy session, the game plan call. So we feel like that'll do really well because we feel like it'll create a really intentional action step when someone is to come into the group. So in the ad, they actually aren't being told to join the group. They're basically being told like, hey, this is what you're downloading. This is what you're getting. The only way to access it is in the group. And so it
that's kind of like Marina Simone does that. It works really effectively.
Yeah. I mean, she actually may be a upcoming client of ours. We're talking to her about running her ads and managing that for her. But that's that. Did you guys see the loom that I posted yesterday? Just the weekly game plan loom. Did you guys see that? Okay. So I feel like we would get more out of the clients and community group calls. I've committed to Thursdays, making as many Thursday calls as I can. But I feel like the other calls are there, and we don't necessarily, not everyone needs to be all on the same place. It's like the Thursday call, like Casey, it wouldn't make sense for you to be there. Like it'd be great if you probably get some value out of it, but like to get the most out of it, like honestly, the Wednesday and that Friday call would help you a ton, right? If you can't make either, just commit to watching the replay. The Tuesday call, I told Michaela, like, go to that Tuesday call and get the most out of it. And I'd say Rebecca, like, same thing, that Wednesday and Monday would probably be really good. They're actually, I think they're looking to change the time on the call because everybody has kids. And so I think they're looking to actually change the time on that call to, like, I think 2 p.m. Eastern, which kind of sucks because I know a lot of us that are in that group use that 2 p.m. Eastern as like a business hour, right? And so like, but in a sense, it's like, this is business. So it's like, I'd rather do it at 2 p.m. too and commit to just not doing something else in my business and doing that. You know what I mean? So I think on Wednesday they do the messenger thing where it's all about like helping people have better conversations and get people on the calls. And so that may be really helpful. And like, honestly, unless you have a specific question, it probably would be just fine watching a replay here or there. You know what I mean? Unless you have something very specific.
That just reminded me of a messenger call. I actually do have a question. So you had asked, has anybody touched base with her? The girl, I think her name was like Tamika.
Oh, yeah.
And real seemingly quality. She's seamlessly developed her brand around Herbalife, and I went to her website. Everything looks really good and stuff. But when I greeted her and I like complimented her, and then I asked a specific question about how we might support her, and she just said, hello, welcome, or like, hello, nice to meet you, or something. She didn't address the question at all. So what do you do in a case like that?
I'd probably circle back by saying like something like, hey, just wanted to just, either just want to make sure you didn't miss this, or just circle back and say something like, if you want to show me it, I can probably give you a little better context of kind of if you can show me the conversation.
Sure, let me grab it and I'll.
Yeah. But a simple just kind of like follow up. Hey, just just want to make sure you didn't miss this, or did you still need help? If you do, just let me know. And I'd ask that question again, and I'd probably do it in a place where like I could come back the first day and ask something, because again, she could have easily just been busy or not seen it, or because I know there's I don't know if you guys know Sean Smith. Sean Smith sent me a message the other day. The coach, he's a YouTube coach kind of guy. I didn't respond to him, and it's been like 2 days, and I just remembered it this morning. So that this stuff happens, right? Especially, you never know how crazy someone's inbox can be. But as I was explaining, I was in a meeting this morning, kind of talking to a guy who knows people that would want to be setters and closers. And I was telling him, I was like, if we treat our team in our Facebook group like a nice hotel, and in a nice place, like we always want to let people know, like, hey, here's where the bar is, here's where the hotel is. I'm sorry, here's where the pool is, here's how to access your room, or here's how to get the amenities that we have at this hotel. And if someone says yes when they come into the group, then we're going to be more specific about like getting them what they need. And if they didn't say yes, we're just going to say hey and have a simple conversation. So I wanted to reach out and welcome to the group.
She didn't say yes. That was just a
right. So if she didn't say yes, I probably wouldn't ask, where do you need the most support to grow your business? And here to serve. It is for a person that didn't say yes, my initial thing is it's a little long. I love the fact that you went, and because I know you really take pride in like looking at someone's profile and like seeing and picking out those things. I think for me, I would have probably held those in my pocket, or not released all of them. I probably would have like kept a few of them in my pocket. So I wanted to reach out, and a lot of times I like to say personally welcome you. I don't know if that word has some grip there, but I feel like it does. I feel like when I say like I wanted to reach out and personally welcome you to the group, I poked around your profile. I would probably say something like, love what I see, hope you don't mind, congrats on the book, and you've got some amazing branding going on. And then I'd probably like leave it at that in terms of the context of that initial message. And then I would say something like, what kind of coaching do you do? I wouldn't go in right for the where do you need help, because she wasn't in that position to ask for the help. You know what I mean? So I think no, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Like, it's kind of like maybe she skipped over it because it felt pushy to her. Like, okay, what do they want? They're on me.
Yeah, maybe. Again, not a bad message. I do think this is an excellent training moment for what we've been talking about the last few days of like, let's touch everybody kind of thing. You know what I mean? I feel like this is the difference though. It's that difference between the person that says, yes, I want help, and the person that just comes in the group. We want to touch everybody, but that's where that subtle difference will be. It's if someone they didn't say yes, and we're just creating conversation, like, let's just create that conversation. Hey, what kind of coach are you? You know, how long you been doing it? Like those type of questions that are just gathering information, and then you can hold those bullets that you have, you know, the branding bullet, you know, how I love how you've integrated Herbalife into your brand. It seems really cool. Now you're giving those compliments, and like, and you're actually engaged in the conversation, because she knows that, like, where do you need the most support to grow your business? Like, that's a question that I would ask after I've built some rapport, especially with a person that literally didn't come in saying yes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's where you'll probably end up in more of just a really relaxed conversation versus the person that says yes. And then it's like, all right, let's make sure, like, so, all right, so I know you said this when you came in. Where do you feel like you need the most help? You know what I mean? It's going to be more to the point in that yes conversation. There's still going to be some, you know, some connection and rapport there, but like, you know, I don't look at rapport as this thing of like, all right, like, let me build rapport, you know, and just ask stupid questions. Like, I just want to make sure they're even, I don't know, worth talking to. Like, there's a lady that she came in the group and she reached out and said, hey, and it's like, she just wants to talk about the weather, and like, she wants, you know, it's just like, it's like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, how's the weather near you? Did it rain yesterday? Like, I don't want to do that. Nobody had time for that. You know, she's like, how's the market over there? Our market's doing great. How's your market? I'm like, oh my God, will people do this? You know, it's like, ugh. You know, and so we don't want to be weird, you know. But again, we just want to connect with someone. So like, so just pretending like, if we reach out, like, again, I really do feel like if we hit those KPI numbers of send 10 people, send 10 messages a day, will probably lead to 5 conversations. And those 10 messages can easily be like, hey, saw you in the group. Because I look at, let's look at, because I love the hotel example that you gave the other day. It's been on my mind like ever since, Rebecca. So if we look at it like a hotel and someone likes a post, so like there's people that like this post about Lisa, and there's 8 people here, 9 comments, and you know, we'll see who, you know, who's there. But like, let's just take Kevin, for example. So like, I've talked to Kevin before, but however, even if you saw Kevin, both of you, and any other setter that may watch this in the future, if you just reached out and say, hey, Kevin, saw you in the group coaching secrets group, just wanted to reach out and say, hey, you know, has anyone connected with you yet? Right? Has anyone, you know, have you been helped yet? That's the type of feel that you would get in like a really nice place, because a like or a comment to me is like someone being in the lobby. You know what I mean? And if you happen to go on Facebook and be in the lobby the same time someone else was in the lobby, wouldn't you say hi? And just let somebody know that like, hey, you know, we're here to help. What do you say, Rebecca?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's who I am, is just friendly like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. And I think that's where the separation of like, we can be friendly and helpful and pointers, and that can lead to a lot of triage calls with the people that just said no. And then we can be a little more direct and specific with the people that said yes. But I feel like, and I know that clients and community has their way of doing things. I know they have a reason for doing everything that they do. All I know is our people and what's worked for us over the past, especially when we've done trainings and challenges where we put 500 people in the group at a time. We try to connect with all 500. Well, not all 500. We try to connect with the people that look like would be a great connection. Whether they said yes, no, I don't care, I got this. Like, we just try to say hi and connect with them. And that's what put us in a really good position to close 10, 15 of those people during that challenge. You know, because we could we just created that initial connection. So I really feel like that's going to make a big difference in terms of hitting our numbers, because right now we're at about 35 people a week that come into the group. We want to get it to 50 to 60 people a week coming into the group. The only way we can do that is if we get that surge of revenue in this next group coming in and the daily groups coming in. That way we can increase ad spend, possibly get more people in the group. More people in the group means there's more momentum and energy and more people for you guys to talk to. And obviously when they close, everybody wins. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions on that, again, I feel like those numbers are doable, especially I would say if there's like any intent, like just getting people to that live each Monday, like your top 10 people, because if I did it to my top 10 and got 5 or 6 of my 10 to watch live and or commit to coming back and watching the replay, and Casey did it and Rebecca did it and Trish did it, all of a sudden we have a solid group of people that are like watching this one thing for the week, and people are seeing that video. Therefore, when new people come into the group and they see that video at the top, the video, and it's a good training, is likely to build quicker rapport because they see the video, and like it's just like a new lead popped in yesterday. Here, let me go back here. So they changed the announcements a little bit to where they put this like in a more of a slider type of thing, which is cool. But if we go here and we need to change this title up, we'll do that. But there was a lady who commented, and I don't know if anyone has seen her in the group before. I usually have a pretty good pulse of like names and faces and stuff. Let's see if I can find her. I think all the comments are really thrown around. Oh, they're our most relevant. Tina Rendon. Okay, so just for instance, Tina Rendon pops in, first 4 seconds, her comments, love your energy. Now, just out of curiosity, have either of you talked to Tina before? No, Casey hasn't. Rebecca, have you? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So if we can get people to that live, which is probably the most important thing we can do, imagine how somebody feels brand new. Tina's just in this group, but then like she sees this live where the first thing she notices is my energy. And do you think she's gonna, like, if she gets connected to, she's gonna want to come back, and this is gonna share more, and she's gonna open up, and it can build that instant rapport that we want with someone, because like video, that's how powerful video can be, especially live, and especially doing like an interview style thing that we did yesterday. Does that make sense? So one, inviting people, your top people. I wouldn't say like, hey, every Monday I got to go invite 30 people. No, just pick out like your top 10 conversations and say, hey, there's we're doing a live training today on this topic. Love it's at 12 o'clock. Do you want an invite? You want me to tag you? I feel like this may help you. Again, we're just here to help. And all of a sudden, instead of getting 5 to 10 people on, we can have 30, 40 people on at a time, because the more people that come on, the more it's going to broadcast it out to members of the group that we didn't touch that day. And then, just taking a few minutes to kind of go back to the live and looking for people like Tina, because they'll pop up. And if you haven't talked to them, again, just you could say something like, hey, saw you on the live yesterday. Just wanted to personally say hey, and welcome you to the group. It was really nice to see you on the live. What kind of coaching do you do? Or I looked at your page and I see you do this. How long you've been doing it? Or I see you're in New York too. I'm in New York. I have friends in New York. Or, it's just a simple conversation that you never know where it could lead, right? And then all of a sudden, if we all do a decent job of like responding to these people, the more responses, the more the video gets pushed out. It's just going to keep pushing the video out to people that haven't seen it in the group yet, or keep reminding people to watch it. And so it's like we have the team to do those things, and it doesn't have to be like you have to stay on Facebook all day kind of thing. But if you're on there, leaving a comment or here, it's always going to push it back up to the top of the feed. And we are going to keep the latest video that we did in the announcement section, but that may help there too. Does that help?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So I think like each week we're doing more and more and better and more efficient things. I know for us as a whole, I do think changing up we only talk to the people that say yes. I think that's going to make a huge difference for us. I just think that I think people say no because there's just so many groups that they could go into, but when they realize that like, oh, you know what, like I just get loved on here, and I can feel the love. And I joined a group challenge the other day. I don't even know when it starts. I think it starts in like 2 weeks. We're kind of far out. But the lady's message was cool. I'm glad they like sent out a message, but I don't think the entry questions were like, hey, reach out to me kind of thing. But she sent out this message: welcome to Sales Mastery Inner Circle. I'm Lauren. See, my thing about that one is I know you're Lauren. Your name clearly says it. You can tell me what you do, but like, that's just me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it's like I can clearly see that your name is Lauren. Like, so you don't have to tell me that it's Lauren. It makes me feel like it's a copy and paste message once you say that, like, my name is Lauren. I know that. But saying like, hey, I'm the dedicated sales mastery advisor. Hey, like I'm the dedicated copywriting and messaging coach, or I'm the designated, mindset and business development coach. We're so excited to have you here. You're just in time for this challenge kicking off. The challenge is complimentary for those in the group, and we'll cover if you would like help. If you would like to join us, please let me know. I'd be happy to get you registered. I feel like she could have ended that in a question to keep me involved if I was really interested in going through the challenge. It looks like I got into that group before, I guess, because I did register for that challenge. But I guess since the challenge doesn't start till the 23rd, they probably have other campaigns that are driving people to the group too. But again, I think that message that Rebecca sent with some tweaks is a great initial message for the person that says no. So
yeah, and I completely get when you point out like asking them that question kind of instead of pulling them in, it definitely makes it go to potentially like a stop of like, okay, is this going to be an aggressive group? You know what I mean? Like they seemingly friendly, but what do they want? Because that's how we are with like, yeah.
Because everybody has that feel. I talked to this James guy, and he invests. He's just in a place in his life right now where he literally has no money. And he's kind of like, in a place where he needs to re-up on things. And I've been there. But I told him straight up, I was like, yo, like you comment on stuff like, what's the deal? I said, you know, because we don't have to be friends. I mean, I mean, it's whatever. And he was like, man, I just I feel like you're just gonna like sell me something. I'm like, dude, I ain't got nothing to sell if I don't know a problem, you know. And trust me, like at this point, like not one person is gonna make or break. So if you need help, like take the help, dude. You know, I ended up sending him some YouTube videos that I felt like would help him. And
Was
you
that
know, he's
sorry, Ryan. Was that James Allen?
maybe.
Because I have also like given him not like overwhelming amount of things, but I've like made sure that he's had whatever like things that he's commenting on.
Right.
I've
And
always asked first, like,
and
if
that was his
anybody's
mindset. His mindset was like people were going to reach out to me to sell me something, you know. And like that's not your fault. That's an issue that he needs to get over, you know. I was kind of curious about this one. This was in the same group. Kind of weird. This is Meg from Sales Mastery Inner Circle Facebook group. Lauren will be in touch with you soon to assist you to navigate through trainings. In the meantime, can you let me know you got this message? So I don't really understand that. You're going to reach out to me to let me know that someone else is going to reach out to me. And neither of them really asked me a question. It was just a matter of let me know this message went through. So that was a little odd. So I in terms of initial touch, feel like that could have been a lot better, right? So those are just my thoughts. Again, I do think that you know, as long as we are all cool with like again our numbers of KPI, you know, 10, 5, and 2. If we know the deal for the week and we can just connect with people, love on them. I'm going to do a welcome video today. So, you know, welcome all the new members in the group and all that good stuff. You know, comment on it, shoot friend requests, welcome the people. Next week should have that like that clients funnel video thing done, that pure training. And so we can have a thing that like, okay, have you done this? Okay, great. Then we can get you to the triage call, or like, okay, you did this, watch the replay of this web class. And then it's just going to keep building rapport and trust. And then Rebecca, like for yours, if you know if they're just not there yet, right? All of a sudden we can use the supporting cast things like the live that we do weekly. We can use the value post. We can use those things to like help them get there, because those are the people that need, like, they just need to stick around, right? Like Heather just needs to like stick around, and then possibly you guys giving me feedback on something that Heather may need that we could do a Facebook live on a Monday, right? Like jotting down those ideas and things. Like next week we'll do Facebook group growth. So launching or relaunching a Facebook group. We'll go over some basics there. And yeah, if you so anything that you guys kind of have come up in your conversations with your leads, you know, run them by me, you know, because we have a list of things that we would go over in Digital Marketing Monday. But I'm always 100% open to like doing one specifically for people, because it just helps everybody, you know. And like when you talk to that specific person, it helps them get off the fence and they feel like you're talking to them, you know. And then like everybody else feels like you're talking to them too, because everyone's going through the same shit essentially. So that's really all I got today, guys. I mean, I would say, you know, if you got anything, I think that was a great example, Rebecca. I really appreciate you bringing that up, because I feel like that can be a good place to improve how we connect in that first initial message. Did you have anything? Okay. Oh, and Casey, are you good taking triage calls if people reach out? So if people reach out to me, what we were doing for a couple of weeks, we were just kind of sending them to Rebecca. But are you good if we send people to you?
Yeah, definitely. There were a few that Trisha had sent my way, and it kind of just ended up they didn't respond to me, or they had, prior to Trisha connecting us, they had already like gone and booked like a regular call.
Okay.
Okay. Like somehow they had gotten the link or whatever. So yeah, just kind of up for me up to this point a lot. I've had, I think, 3 triage calls scheduled that ended up being no shows. And if the conversations are feeling like good, but when I get to the point of asking them like, hey, let's set up a triage call, then they're kind of ghosting me at that point.
Okay. So, I mean,
when I say good, I feel like they're engaged until the point of like asking them, hey, are you, I don't know, say, are you?
Let's
I kind of say like, yeah, go ahead.
Let me take a look. Let me show you guys this one. This is Jordan Vonk. Okay. So what I feel like may be missing there, Casey, is that little bit of authority of like, I know this better than you kind of thing. Okay. And this is where our stuff, clients and community stuff, watching those replays, again, they don't have access to what you have access to, right? So part of it is like owning the shit out of like, you know, something they don't know. And that little piece, because it feels like that was the piece that's missing, right? So this guy, this was a message from, let me give you the full context of everything, because I want you to see this. Let's go back here. So I'll go in this group. I'm the biggest fan of this group. I think you guys have heard me talk shit about this group. It's called the Coaching Jungle. This process works. Okay. I see you laughing. Do you already know something?
No, it just, jungle makes me feel stressed because like that's like what feels like my house with 4 kids. Like I don't know that I would necessarily go into a group called Jungle.
Right. This group had like 30,000 people, and I think they deleted a lot of people. But there's posts in here. And like I saw this guy shoot me a friend request. You know, that's the deal in here. What advice would you give a new business owner? And like, you know, you'll see people throw out random advice. Let me look for the question that this guy asked yesterday. So I'll go through here and I'll find a question and I'll answer it. So many people post in this group. I may not be able to find the guy's quote. There we go. Okay, so hey peeps, I'm doing some niche refining, yada yada yada. This is my niche we're working with. So I just commented. Let's see. Do you already have video testimonials? I could get some. Perfect. Shooting you a DM now. So that's what I did. Shot him a message. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, happy Monday. Few things that can help as you move forward with your next phase. Happy to offer some tips if you're open. And he said, yes. That's very specific. I'm not just going to, I still ask permission if he's open. Okay. And I just rolled out some stuff. I said, dude, when we do niching, we like to niche via the problem versus the person first. Once we have really clear grasp on talking about the problem, then we can dial into the person. So I'm like coaching him right now, in a sense. If you get 5 to 10, or if you get 3 to 5 video testimonials, that talk about the problem they had, how you helped, and what life is like now after. Those are money. So I'm giving him tips because I know our curriculum, right? And so that's where I feel like if you guys and if all of our team is going through our stuff, client and community stuff, getting on those live training sessions, our leads don't have access to that. And so we're every day or every week where we're out learning them. You know what I mean? Like that's just, we know it better. And so like we have that confidence there. He's telling me the problem. That's part of my offer. And I'm still asking questions. And I gave one piece of advice. So I had three things. I said, if you're doing paid ads, you want to make sure that you're running awareness ads, growth ads, and retargeting ads to ensure you don't waste money. My thought process there is like, I know he's saying he wants to run ads. The thing that most people are afraid of when they run ads is wasting money. So I'm telling him the things that are going to help him avoid that. So now he knows I know my shit, right? And then he tells me about the client. I said, I'm sure that when you're coaching, there's a deeper problem you find too, right? He said, yes. You know, I reckon I'll use the agency. The issue is emotional regulation. We're having this conversation about what he's got going on. I said, dude, I'd be happy to see where you're at. We run an agency. We can get a pulse on things and offer a complimentary game plan to you. I can see some things in my head that may work well. We'll need to check and make sure you're compliant, compliant. Yes. So we can see if we can get you unstuck. Cool. And then I'm just kind of asking like, hey, do you have a group? How big is your audience? How are you getting clients now? Like, these are just questions that I would ask in an initial conversation on a triage anyway. Right. Tell me about his stuff. I said, honestly, ads probably aren't your fix. I said, we can discuss on the call to make sure. So again, I said it again to make sure, like, hey, to get your answers to the problem, we'll just discuss it on the call. And he said, I'm free now if that works. I said, I'll take a look. I'm not free at the moment, but here's how you can access my calendar. Fill this out so I know more about your biz. When you get to the booking, click the blue button on for my personal calendar. This will get me up to speed on where you're at. So instead of just sending them, and again, I think it's better to do for you guys, I think it's better to do the application personally with them. Okay. That's what I would say 100% of the time. But if I'm ever sending an application out like this, like I'm telling them to fill it out so it's efficient for both of us. I'm not saying like, hey, fill this application out so you're applying to purchase. No, I'm filling this. I need you to fill it out so I'm up to speed on where you're at. That way it's an efficient call. There's a purpose to the filling it out. I've had way more people fill it out that with that in mind and that purpose than just, hey, fill this out, and then they never go do it. Okay. His response was legendary. I'll book now. And he went, filled it out. I'll take a look. I said, I'll give you a breakdown of things that we can help you get you unstuck. I'll probably invite him to the group and say, hey, look, went through your profile, got some ideas. Before we hop on our call, when this call is, what's this guy's name? Jordan. His call is tomorrow. I'll shoot him a message today and say, hey man, I went through your stuff, got some ideas on some things that we can that we may be able to help you with. I wanted to invite you to our Facebook group. That way you get a feel for kind of how we roll with things. You can check out some trainings before we hop on our call. That way you may kind of answer your questions before we even, roll here. You know what I mean? And then that's just more rapport built for that call. So again, just that, if you spent the time doing that and your goal is to book 30 to 60 calls a month, I could go through this group and find people to like book call. I could probably do 2 a day, you know what I mean? Or 2 to 4 a day if I like sat down and did it. It's just a matter of like, we can go through our own group. It's going to be a little different because people aren't like posting questions like this in the group, but like our content is getting people to raise their hand up, and if it could just take that initial message of just saying, hey, and doing that kind of thing. So Because even then, if I added him to the group and one of you reached out and said like, hey, welcome to the group, hope if there's anything you need help with, all of a sudden it's like, I just had this conversation with him and helped him. Then another person just said like, hey, did you get help? I mean, just they're there to just point you in the right direction. It's like, man, I get luck. This is the kind of place I'm looking to be. And when I came into this group, all it is just people trying to pitch me and spam me, and it's a fucking shit fest. Like no one knows what's going to happen the next, it's just crazy. So if we can create that feeling, I think we can continue to create an environment as we bring more setters on and build this team out and build this family and community, that it really sets us all apart in this space. So I feel like this was a good training today. Was this helpful? I think Rebecca's busy.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. So I will save this one as one that we need to save for future training purposes. Okay. Any questions before we roll? No, good deal.
All right. I'm good.
Okay, cool. I would say last thing is, probably Thursdays or Fridays, take a second, log your top people. If we look at the week, so I was just kind of looking at this last week. If we do 10, 5, and 2, 5 times 5 is 25. So what we should end up is like logging about 15 to 25 people in group kit. And those are the
I'm behind on that, so I'll get caught up on that today.
Okay, that's cool. Because I don't want to get it to where we're like logging every day and like dragging it on and logging every person that we reach out to. Like if we have 5 good conversations, like let's log those. Obviously we log the triage calls because that's on the thing, but we'll do the logging group kit once a week and then just log our triage calls as they come.
So the girls that I met with, that I didn't even actually have a triage call because it ended up being like they're just not ready. I don't put that on the hot leads list or anything.
No, if you didn't have the triage, if you had a decent conversation but they just didn't hop on the triage, I would just put a note in the group on their file and group kit that says like not ready and date it. That way, if they're not ready July 21, then we know that, all right, what's this person need to be ready for the triage September 21, right? That way, because I think about 45 to 60 days for a person that like isn't ready, they can get plenty of things. Because like we want to get to a place where every 4 to 6 weeks someone sees a webinar that like we get all those people onto the webinar. And so like there's that spike of like, all right, those 15, 20 people, or those 15 to 25 people times 6, that means, okay, everybody goes to work at that 4 to 6 week mark. Next time we have a webinar, I'm looking at all my people and I'm inviting the hell out of them. And all of a sudden it's like, if we were to get, that's 25 times 6, it's 150 people. If we all like created a lot of energy around that webinar where one person's inviting, 50, 60, another person's inviting 50, 60, and I invite at the same time, we can have probably 50 to 80 people live on a webinar, and there's just a lot of energy there. And then we know that we can book out 30 calls right then and there and have have a month's calls booked out from one web class. You know what I mean? And so it's the momentum that we can create and the authority and the trust and all those things that we can create in between those webinars that can get the attendance up like crazy on the webinar. And then again, we don't do any sales on the webinar. We're still going to tell them to book calls. So if we can get, 80 people on, we could probably have 40 calls booked. And if that's the case, we never want to have all the calls booked out for a whole month. We would need to get them touched fast. Therefore, we would need to bring in probably another advisor to make sure that we got all 40 calls in within like 7 to 10 days, so that's a good problem to have. And again, if this makes sense for what we're talking about, how to do that, again, I know there's a lot of little things, but I feel like everyone's getting into a groove of like understanding those little things and how to apply them. So everybody wins and everybody's life is easier, So let me know if there's anything I can help with. Like I said, I'll save this one for the future. I'll send it back if you want the replay, but I'll put this one in a file for like setter training.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me know if you guys need me, and I will catch you guys Friday. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Bye, Rebecca. See you, Casey.